Right, if you just joined us, this is still Enterprise Friday on Enterprise TV. Now to our main conversation for today. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu on Thursday met with the state governors in Abuja, during which they considered the possibility of state police. In an address by the Information Minister Muhammad Idris, he said, quote, "Now there is also a discussion around the issue of state police. The federal government and the state government are mulling the possibility of setting up state police," end quote. The president's meeting with the governors comes amid a recent resurgence in insecurity across the country, with various armed groups operating in different parts of the country, exploiting the absence of police and local administration. Muhammad Idris added that President Ahmed Tinubu and the state governors discussed the possibility of improving the numerical strength of forest rangers and training them so they can keep forest and borders safe. With me today in the studios to make sense of this headline is Dr. Olayinka Oyegbile. He is a communicator and also a public affairs analyst. Good morning to you, Doctor.
Good morning. Nice to be here again.
Nice to have you. It's great having you to discuss this issue with us today. Now let's get into the main crux of discussion today. The state police. This has been a reoccurring desire by Nigerians, you know, across the length and breadth of the country. And the question is, should we now be excited? Now it seems like the desire for state police is coming to bear.
Well, from the discussion they had yesterday and from what the Minister of Information has said, I think every one of them, they're already having a rethink about this issue of state police or not. Because the fear at the initial stage has always been that governors will abuse the use of state police, just as they have done with state electoral commissions and all that. But you see, the truth of the matter is that you cannot know whether a system is bad or good until you try it. And those of us who have been in the vanguard of talking about state police all this while, we know what we are talking about. Because in actual fact, what is happening now is that it's like we are gradually coming to the realization that the kind of federalism that we say that we are practicing from 1999 or whatever is just a military kind of federalism, where the president is one person, the governor gives order to the state governors and all that. But in true federalism, state police and so on are issues that we should talk about. And for those who have been exercising some fear, I want to cast our mind back to Lagos in 1990. Well, I think about the year 2000. The country returned to democracy in 1999. Yeah. But I think around 2000 or thereabout, the then Lagos State Governor, Bola Tinubu, who is now the president, established LASMA. Okay. Lagos State Transport Management Agency. Yeah. And then they had a lot of troubles with FRSC because the FRSC or the federal government then thought that no, they can't have a state traffic agency and so on and so forth. But the argument then was that, look, Lagos has a peculiar transport system problem, and we need, this thing was needed.
A localized solution.
Exactly, because the FRSC cannot deploy all its staff to every junction, especially both local and state and whatever. So they had a lot of argument and a lot of fight then. I still remember at that time, FRSC officials go around where they see a state LASMA official on federal road, it is always wahala, they want to arrest them and do this and all that, until sense ruled. And they saw that, look, this thing is what we all need. And despite all the little abuses here and there, it is a human system. Of course, there are people who will take advantage of it. Today, almost every state in Nigeria has its own traffic agency, taking a cue from Lagos. It is the same thing with the issue of state police. I believe that if we have state police, at the initial stage, or maybe for some time, there might be some abuses, which is not, which is inevitable. Because even at the federal level, are police not abused at federal level? A state commissioner of police, if he's in a good book of a state governor, the state governor can use him or her to do his work. So, the issue of security, as we have always said, is a local thing. One, if you have a situation where something happened in Lagos, you need that security, people who know the state, people who are familiar with the state, to take care of it. So I think with this discussion, the federal government, the state government have come to the realization. And you know that, unfortunately, that is the issue, that is the truth, but we may gloss over it and not want to agree. The issue of state police has been on for a very long time. In fact, most of the southern states have agreed with it. It is the northern states that seem not to agree. But now, with the level of insecurity everywhere, they seem also to have come to that realization, and they've agreed. So, as the minister said, it is not something that they will do immediately. There will be modalities, they will sit down. Okay, when we have a state police, are we going to ask those who are presently in the Nigerian police
exactly.
to signify those who want to join the state police or so?
Exactly.
I mean, and
I wanted to ask you, because what would be the modality of operation, and wouldn't there be duplication of responsibility in that particular case?
There won't be. If only we study our federal system very well. You know, my only fear is that everything that comes to Nigeria is usually abused. Let's talk of the United States of America, where we copied our constitution. You have a state police, you have federal police, you have state police, you even have council police. So, in fact, county too. So, now, what will happen is that when this comes, I guess that's the reason why they are saying that they have to discuss more. I remember that during the first term of former President Buhari, there was a committee that was set up, headed by the then governor of Kaduna State, Nasir El-Rufai, about true federalism and so on and so forth. And the reports we had that the committee gave was that Nigeria was ripe for true federalism. And why the president then, why President Buhari did not implement it is what we don't know. Because the committee was set up by him, it was headed by a northern governor, so it's not a case of maybe he doesn't agree with the view of the governor, or maybe he appointed a governor who already had a stand. But the El-Rufai committee recommended all this. So it's like now we are coming back to their reality. And it is only a foolish man who doesn't change his mind. And it is only a non-living thing that also, for instance, if you have a tree in your compound, you can get to the tree today and say, I will cut you down tomorrow. The tree will not move away from there.
Exactly.
But you bring and cut it down. But A human being, if you tell him you want to do something, he will run away or defend himself. So it's only a stupid man who doesn't change his mind. I think those people, they have seen that federalism gradually we must return to. And when we do state police now, I'm sure other things will follow.
Of course, because I am actually looking at if the acceptance for state police is there, then the possibility of a restructuring might equally, come into bear. But let's look at the issue of peculiarity, just like you did mention. You see, the case of the Southwest is a bit different, but let's take a look at the Southeast of Nigeria and also the northern part of the country, where, for example, in the Southeast, we have agitation for the cessation of that particular region, and because of that we've seen mass loyalty to a particular cause. And in that particular case, we've equally seen governors from that region abuse what they have created as an alternative for state police to hunt people who are against them. How do you think that would play out when it is now stamped that there should be state police, and by so the state governors begin to take advantage of that to fight those who are not interested in what they do and how they do what they do?
Well, you see, as I said earlier on, there will be teething problems and there might be initial abuses. The people who are going to constitute this state police are not strangers.
Oh, okay.
When I mean strangers, I mean they are not from other planets. They are Nigerians. It will be open to some little abuses here and there. But I believe that we cannot say because of abuse we will not move forward. The Yoruba have a proverb. They say we cannot say because a child has died we will not sleep with the mother again. So we will not say that because some people are going to abuse the use of the state police, therefore we will not create it. The issue of the Southeast that you spoke about, I believe very strongly that Southeast governors are not different from northern governors or Southwest governors. What do I mean? They are all human beings. Is it in the Southwest that the governors may not use the state police, or in the North? In the Southeast, yes. If a state governor abuses his power by using state police, there will be a way to check it. Because
is it by the Nigerian police now, or how do you think who administers the check and balance there?
The people themselves. Because you see, most times we always think that we should have another agency that will take care of such things. No. See, I believe that if the state government or a state governor is using the police to checkmate or to victimize a section of people or some people, there will be those in the state who will come out to make crowd foul play. And then somehow corrections will come. It is only in a situation where people don't talk. Because an average politician is always looking at the next election. So if people come out and cry that no, this thing is being used wrongly, there will be correction. So we cannot say that because we are afraid, let us even start first. Look, it was the same way last month started. People were saying, no, they will be used to do this, they will be used to do that. But today, in all honesty, despite the excesses of some of the officials, Lagos is better off today with last month. And I believe when we have state police, at the initial stage, there will be abuses because it will be a system we have not operated before. And so, people will be looking at how they can take advantage of it. And those who are taking advantage of it, people will raise eyebrow and talk about it. So, I believe that we should not, because of that, be afraid.
Okay. Let's go for a quick break, and when we come back, Enterprise Morning continues. Please don't go anywhere.
Enterprise TV, your one-stop shop for news, programs, human angle stories, the economy, sports, and much more. We go the extra mile to bring incredible details to you. So hop on the train now. Enterprise TV, a tradition of truth.
All right, welcome back to Enterprise Friday today on Enterprise TV, and I still have with me Dr. Olayinka Oyebile. Doctor, let's take a look at and do some sort of juxtaposition and with regards to our nation state, Nigeria, and other neighboring countries like Ghana, Benin, Ivory Coast, and so on and so forth. You know, the kind of issue we have with respect to violence is not as much as we see it in Ghana, for example. And I want to believe the reason Nigeria is a bit peculiar is on the issue of governance, good governance, respectful rule of law. So that I want to believe is even the reason, the remote reason why we have all of these issues, kidnapping, banditry, and so on and so forth. So don't you think that if we had good governance, respectful rule of law, we wouldn't even be talking about state police in the first place, and maybe we would have a civil and peaceful country like we see it in Ghana, Ivory Coast, and other neighboring countries?
Well, there is no country or there is no society in the world that does not have its own iota of crime. So, whether we, even in the most peaceful or prosperous country in the world, there are some level of crime. Although we hear that in Finland and some other Nordic countries, their prisons are almost empty. Well, the reason for that, yes, you might put it to the prosperity of the economy and all that, but also whether the economy is prosperous or not. For instance, the United States of America is one of the leading economies in the world, if not the leader. But you see have crime there. So are you going to say that it is poverty that is making people to commit crime? No. The nature of man or human being is to be deviant. Is to want to go against any norm. Therefore, whether we compare Nigeria to Ghana, Ivory Coast, Mali, and the rest of them, is neither here nor there. But the truth of it is that whether, in fact, I always don't want to believe or be in that vanguard of saying that there are more crimes being committed in Nigeria than anywhere in the world. The reason is this. Some years back, I traveled to the US and I met one chief executive. When he heard that I'm from Nigeria, he now asked me, he said, "Oh, how do you people survive? I hear that they kill people everywhere and so on and so forth." I said, no, that is not true. I said, the same way you are feeling about Nigeria is the same way my people are feeling about the US. In fact, that this morning, then I was telling you, that this morning I heard that 3 people who have been killed in New York. Does that mean the US is not safe? And people called me because I was in New York that day. And I told them, I said, people have also called me, but I hope you are safe. I said, well, I'm just also hearing from you that 3 people have been killed. I didn't see it. So, what am I saying? when people talk about crime or people being killed or existence of crime anywhere, what happens is that it is what you see or the way you perceive it. Crime in Nigeria may not be as big or greater than it is in Ghana. Or even if it is also a question of population. We have a bigger population. The population of Lagos alone is bigger than that of the whole country there. So, I mean.
All right, so let's look at the issue of state police and ethnic division and tribal undertone. After the February 25th general elections of 2023, in Lagos particularly, we had issues where indigents were asking non-indigents to leave their state, go back to your state. And do you think, when the state police is given that mandate, do you think we would have a little bit of issue with that, in knowing that, of course, majority of those who might be serving with the example, Lagos State Police, might be indigents, and that would exacerbate the issue of tribal division in the country, where non-indigents would become scared?
Well, I think we'll cross the bridge when we get there. But before that, I think part of the problem we are having in Nigeria is that because we have so fractured ourselves that your ethnic origin becomes something of importance. I'll give myself as an example. I was born in Jos, Plateau State. The first 33, 34 years of my life were spent in the north. I schooled in the north, I had my first degree in the north and all that. But I'm from Oyo State. Now, I've been living in Lagos now for more than 20 years. The Oyo State, where I hail from, I've never spent a complete 1 year, in fact, 3 months. Because when I travel home, maybe on holiday, maybe 2, 3 weeks, 4 weeks at the most. So now, if you want to recruit state police, you now say because Olayinka Oyebile is from Oyo State, you want to put him into the police force in Oyo State. I know virtually very little of Oyo State, of people. The Plateau State where I spent 33, 34 years, I can talk about that. Lagos now that I spent about 20, 22 years. So, this issue of state police, if there's any error people are making, thinking that it is only the indigents, maybe that's part of the discussion the Minister of Information was saying they will have. Because a Lagosian who has lived all his life in Oyo State, or maybe somewhere in the north, now comes to Lagos to join the police. He will have to learn the geography of the state anew. But Anuche, who was born and bred in Lagos, because he's Uche, does not mean he cannot be a member of the state police.
Do you think that will be realistic in our Nigeria?
In fact, that's where I'm going to, because when we say we should have state police, that may be one of the major problems we are going to have. But I still think it may not be. It will rear its head, but we will address that. I think the government, maybe, as I said, maybe that's part of what the minister was saying, that they are still discussing, because those are not issues that they need to iron out. State police does not, okay, when you talk of state police, Nigerians that are in the US, are there no Nigerians in the US Army? Are there no Nigerians in their state police? Are there no Nigerians in their federal police? So, I mean, we should go beyond all this issue of tribal and ethnic whatever, because the world has become a global village. You have Nigerian American, you have the Nigerian German. So if a Nigerian can go to the US or go to Germany or go to Canada and so on and rise to the highest post there, why is it that a Nigerian, because he's not from Oyo State or he's not from Plateau State or he's not from Imo State, cannot rise? Because when you see a Nigerian appointed into an international organization, or maybe America, the British Minister of Trade or whatever, Badenoch, she's a Nigerian.
Yeah, she's Nigerian.
The day she was announced as minister, everybody was praising, oh, Nigerian. But if she were to be a Nigerian, or if she were to be resident in Nigeria, and she's appointed a minister or something, some people will say, no, she has not but when it is international, we all unite, and so I think we should grow beyond that and think more now as global citizens, and we should have people who think of themselves as Nigerians, not as Yoruba, Igbo, Ijaw, and all those things. No.
Exactly. Well, it's just like Dr. did say, what we need, it's a Nigeria where every Nigerian will be proud of the country and Nigeria and pledging allegiance to the country, and not a division that would divide us. I would love to say thank you to you, Doctor, for being part of our show today. We do sincerely appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Thank you so very much. And for you watching, we'd love to say thank you so very much also for being part of our show today. Please do well to visit our website at www.enterprisetvnews.com. Like, comment, and follow us on all our social media platforms at Enterprise TV7. I am Henry Igwibika. I'll see you tomorrow for yet another great time.
Enterprise TV, a tradition of truth.